Hi y'all! Since Masamune's sequel is coming out in fall 2021, today I'm gonna review his main route, and you guys should probably read it before his sequel. When I first wrote this, I wrote the oh, you'll have enough time, but now I'm recording this and it is, August 31st, so yeah, there's not enough time to read it, but you should read it because it's a very good route. Okay, so in case you don't know anything about Ikemen and you're just here because he pretty, which I don't blame you for that, because he is pretty. Ikemen Sengoku is an otome game published by Cybert and a part of their Ikemen series of games. The game follows the MC, a fashion designer who's sucked into a wormhole and finds herself in Sengoku-era Japan. After saving the life of warlord Oda Nobunaga, the MC has not only changed the course of history, but now Nobunaga has taken a liking to her. The MC is given the job as Chatelaine of Azuchi Castle, and from now until another wormhole opens up, she must survive in the Sengoku era. Date Masamune was a daimyo during the Sengoku period. I'll talk more about the real Masamune in a biography video, which I'll link up in the iCard once it's done. In Ike-san, however, Masamune works closely with Oda Nobunaga and is kind of a wild card. I honestly love Ike-san's take on him. He's a fascinating character and honestly a pretty decent person. He also really loves to tease people, which is equal parts flustering and entertaining. Masamune can also be super impulsive, which, if you view that as a detriment or not, that's up to you. I personally liked it, but given the context of some things he does, I can see some people not caring for it all that much. Alright, content warnings. So, like I say basically all of the time, these aren't visually depicted, but they're still present in the route. There's talk of eye gore, disease, parental death, and the story has kidnappings. And also just a general warning for war because this does take place in the Sengoku era. The plot picks up after the prologue. The MC has become the Chatelaine of Azuchi Castle and is getting used to life in the 1500s. The beginning of her new life, however, is not easy. Oda forces to learn that Takeda Shingen and Uesugi Kenshin, two people who do not like Nobunaga, are still alive, and that a former abbot of Honganji, Kenyo, is also an active threat to Nobunaga. After being attacked during a work trip, the MC has to come with terms with how dangerous the Sengoku era is and if she'd be prepared to ever kill someone in self-defense. While dealing with outside conflict and getting closer to Masamune, the MC has a lot on her plate. So I already touched on this a little bit, but Masamune is a huge flirt and loves teasing. It's honestly kind of constant, but I'm personally not complaining. There's a lot of pining from the MC side and a lot of cutesy flirting back and forth. In addition to the flirting, there's also a lot of playful bickering between the two. And they're also super very sweet to each other. It's honestly just a super nice dynamic between them. Before I reveal the grades, I'm going to quickly go over how I grade. The route will get 3 grades, 1 for story, 1 for romance, and 1 for the overall experience. The first 2 are reflective grades that I gave out after reading the whole route, but the overall one is a little more complicated. As I read the route, I rated each chapter out of 10 points, added those together, made it a percent, the kind of thing you do if you're trying to figure out your grade for a class. It does include romance and story, but it's not derived from the romance and story grades themselves, if that makes sense. I think it should be pretty clear from my intro, but I really liked Masamune's route. It earned a B for story, an A for romance, and an A for experience with an 88%. Where do I begin with this? For starters, I guess, this route was such a delight. Like, for realsies. I do feel this route was more romance-heavy than plot-heavy, but I loved it. Masamune's interactions with the MC are so fun to read, and like I said before, their dynamic is just so fucking fantastic. I totally fell in love with him while reading, but if you don't self-insert, the personality this MC is given just really meshes well with Masamune's, and it makes for a really good love story no matter what, in my opinion. Story-wise, there was a really interesting ongoing internal conflict for the MC. Besides trying to figure out if Masamune really liked her back or if he was just messing around, she was kind of plagued with this idea of the Sengoku period was dangerous as hell, to put it lightly. A lot of people around the MC realized she would probably have to kill someone in self-defense at some point, and the idea made the MC uncomfortable. This is something she grapples with the whole route, and the conclusion to this conflict is great. For me, the main draw of the route is Masamune, to be completely honest. I can't really speak on Kato Kazuki's voice acting in this because, admittedly, I don't play a lot of games with the sound on, because God forbid I have to stop listening to Coco Bop on repeat for 5 seconds. But I'm sure he did a great job. Masamune is a reckless, flirtatious, sweet guy, and I absolutely loved getting to know him and see all the crazy shit he gets up to. That all being said, and how much I enjoyed this route aside, it wasn't perfect. Although there is some plot, I feel like the focus of this route was more on romance, and while I liked it, I know there's some people who prefer a more equal balance. The things I remember the most about the route are the romantic scenes and not so much the plot. The plot is there, and it's a fine plot, but for me, it didn't feel like it was the priority in this route. There was also one scene that was kind of unintentionally hilarious. The Ikemen series writers don't do this often, so this is one of those rare times. I'm gonna talk more about it in the spoiler section, but all you need to know is that it's a scene that's only really funny if you think about the context. This didn't really affect my enjoyment of the scene, but it was definitely something I lost it over and was laughing about for a couple minutes. I still think it's hilarious, to be honest. And for another personal nitpick, while I enjoy the MC's grappling with the concept of killing in self-defense, and I think that's incredibly interesting and probably relatable for most people, it wasn't relatable at all to me. I had that conversation with myself at a very young age, and my circumstances were so different from the MC's. Instead of it being something I related to or was like, oh yeah, that was totally me, it was just an internal conflict for the character. However, although it wasn't something I could personally relate to, I think this overall concept is so deeply personal and individual to everyone that honestly, I don't know if a lot of people will relate to her, honestly. But I know some people will, and even if you're like me and can't relate to her in that regard, it's still a compelling conflict and it's fascinating to watch it unfold through the route. Overall, this route was amazing and I highly recommend it. So far, it's my favorite Ikemen route and I'm so fucking excited for his sequel. Here ends the spoiler-free review section. I'm gonna be honest, the spoiler section is going to be super short, so honestly, even if you're fine with spoilers, it's totally fine to click off now. And if you do, no matter the reason, thanks for hanging out with me! If you like otome reviews, be sure to subscribe. If you plan on reading Masamune's route, or if you've already read it, let me know in the comments. If you're leaving now, I'll see you guys later, but if you're staying, let's go! Okay, so originally I wasn't going to have a spoiler section to this review, but this is haunting me. I can't not talk about it, so okay. The scene I was talking about earlier that I thought was unintentionally hilarious. So imagine you're trying to fight this dude who's your worst enemy. You fucking hate this guy, and then all of a sudden during this fight, he's having a fucking heart-to-heart with his girlfriend, and they're being mushy and cute and emotional like, I am losing my goddamn mind. Like, when Masamune and the MC do this in the story's climax, like, the heart-to-heart was so sweet, but I can't stop thinking of Kenshin standing there like, what the fuck is this? Like, I am screaming. Again, this didn't ruin my enjoyment of the scene, but I just couldn't leave you guys in the dark about it because, like, oh my god. And there you have it. Masamune's route is just so fantastic, I really can't recommend it enough. I really hope you guys go read it if it sounds like your cup of tea, or cocoa in my case, since I don't like tea. Again, if you like this kind of content, please subscribe. It really helps me out. If you'd like to read my hilarious route notes, they're available for my patrons on Patreon. Shameless plug time. Bow, 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 bow. But yeah, if you go with the tier with notes, you can also get early access to my videos too, so that's pretty cool. Next video will be a biographical video on Date Masamune, and I'll also discuss what Ikemen got right and wrong, as well as some fun historical shoutouts? Easter eggs? None of those seem like the right word, but you guys know what I'm saying. But anyway, that'll do it for me, and I hope I'll see you guys later. Bye!